Well, I guess we're live. This is my first time doing it live, so I don't really know too much about how it works. I hope I'm not using my wide angle lens. Yes, it does use it. I just want to use the regular 1x zoom on this. This is a committee room. I think it's pretty cool. Look at the shutters on this. Stacks of file. And the nice committee chairs. I'm gonna try to sit on it in just a second to give a look of how it looks. And the old clock with the chandelier. And the nice style, it looks like wallpaper on the roof. And then you have the desk committees along with the mics. It's funny they have SM58s. I got a SM57, it's a nice microphone. It's a Shure SM58, which is nice. Here goes each row. And we're gonna try to sit up there. Let's see how it looks. Let's see where to go put the phone at. Put it right here. That would be good. Nice little view. Okay. There's no cameras. Not that I see. Which is kind of exciting. It looks more like a cool. Oh yeah, it is. No alarm signals when I'm up here. Oh, this is so sweet. Wow, this is what they get to do all day. I know so many things to talk about, man. Let's talk about. Let's see, what did I talk about? Young gentlemen, what you got for us today?
Good afternoon. I got a question about how does it feel being a person in a chair like that behind all these great people here?
How does it feel? Well, I don't really pay attention too much to how it feels. I rather pay attention to how many people I'm impacting. The lives that I'm impacting.
Oh,
What? Let's talk about the policies.
okay.
What do you want to talk about?
Let's go with hunger and the homeless population. What's your policy and your stance on that?
So, we, the United States, have the opportunity to do a better job. I know that the country is in debt. We're indebted to other countries like China, but we could definitely do a better job. Let's get all the small businesses together and let's do a collaboration. Let's get all the large corporations together. Those that are getting away with not paying taxes, those that are getting away with making millions. Let's get them together. And let's collaborate. See what we can do on the people that are on the streets.
Yeah, I like that. And seeing that, great plan. Where do you see this state in the next 10 to 20 years once we get everything together? Where do you see this state going?
I see the hardworking people, those that are running the everyday lives, those that are working in retail shops, for example. Like, think of T-Mobile. Think of those that work at T-Mobile that are going 8 to 5, even working on the weekends. Let's think of those people, how they run our everyday lives, how they provide the services to the wireless companies. And the companies that are making billions and billions of dollars can barely even get their HR corporation to increase their wages by even, a quarter. Unless those people somehow have connections or they network with those that are even richer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. And lastly, time and time again, we see numerous amounts of innocent people being killed, whether it's in the streets or whatever the case may be.
Absolutely.
What do you feel like could be a solution to help, bring those numbers down?
You know, we have shops that are open to sell dangerous guns. I definitely understand for those that hunt, that need a sniper. But we have assault rifles that are on the streets. We have AK-47s that are on the streets. Why? Why do we need those out on the streets? Why can those not be only used for military purposes, if they even need to be used for military purposes? Why do we have to give it to civilians? Those that we need to crack down on. I think that's where we need to focus on. But you know what? Since you're asking so many questions, why don't you come up here and let me ask you something, sir? Since it looks like you have a head on your shoulders, so let me ask you a few questions, if you don't mind. Let's see. This brother is so smart, so let's ask him a few questions and see if we can get his views on politically, All right, young man. You seem quite awfully young, to be sitting here and discussing the politics of this country. But I have a few questions for you, if I could get your perspective on. So, what's your name again?
My name is Steven Valdez.
Steven, all right, awesome. Steven, let's see if I can get your perspective on the workforce. If we can get your advice, what would you recommend to the younger generation or those that are young that say that there's a hard time finding job opportunities and maybe they think that people just don't want them to be hired? What advice would you give them to give them an encouragement to go out there and continue to be determined?
Absolutely. Once again, and thank you for that question. That's a great question. And I'll introduce myself. I don't think I forgot to get your name.
Mr. David.
Mr. David, it's a pleasure meeting you. And that's a wonderful question. And that's a question that a lot of this young generation has. The great news is being in the workforce.
Gotta sit closer, sir.
See all these opportunities with the revolution of digital transformation. There's so many avenues and aspects you can go about, whether that's Indeed, social platforms like Indeed, Facebook, right? Utilizing those connections. And like I mentioned to a lot of younger people, it's all about making the connections. The networking, going out to your local chamber of commerce, for example. I've done that plenty of times in my history when it comes to being an entry-level job all the way up to management and beyond. You can utilize the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce is a great platform to start. You get your local leaders, whether it's a superintendent of a high school, GM of a Holiday Inn, local small businesses, business owners that are really care about the city, especially as you go up the ladder, you get people that care less and less about the city. The Chamber of Commerce is an avenue that I would definitely recommend. Getting to know your local leaders that have a big impact on your community, and they can also help you network with people they know that will help you get a job from the entry level. And you never know, like I always tell many of the people that you talk to, you can actually utilize these people to when you're going up the ladder and also when you're coming down. Because at the end of the day, it's always ever-changing world in the job industry. So you can be at the top for so long, and then one day you may be on your way down. And it's those people, those connections you make that are going to help you, whether you're on your way up or on your way down.
I like that answer. That's a wonderful answer. So let me ask you now, let's say that this younger generation, let's say they are afraid, let's say they're scared, let's say they don't know how to communicate. And all they think is that, well, maybe I just need to stay at a lower level, 8 to 5. I'll never reach that leadership level. What encouragement would you say to them?
That's a great question, David. I would appreciate that. One of the things for me, as I was
love that answer. Mm-hmm.
One of the things for me was going, well, actually when I did get a job, I was actually forced into sales, and I didn't really know how to get myself out of my shell. And so one of the things that I did was observe other people that were in a like-minded environment, that it was almost it was on an everyday basis, whether they were shy before became really adapted to that lifestyle in regards to speaking to other people. So sometimes you gotta take that leap of faith and step out, and you never be scared to jump and put yourself out there.
I love that answer. I love that answer. You know, I think that's a beautiful answer, since we have a lot of in the young generation that are coming up now and looking to be in the future. You know, we're kind of leaning on those people to take over one day. So I love that answer. I think it gives a lot of people encouragement. And you know what, sir? I think I got to see you again here, because I think we could have a great dialogue. Maybe you might need to be here in the capital setting, and you know.
Well, thank you much, David. I really appreciate it.
Well, before we finish, can I ask you one more question? Let me see if I can think of one. With the atrocities that are going and happening in this country, what would be your encouragement to the people that think there's no hope in this world? I don't know, maybe you have a faith or religion or something. What are some wise words that you will encourage us here today?
Absolutely. Another great question. I really appreciate it. One of the things that always keeps me in line is my faith. Being growing up, I was always taught in Jesus Christ, and that was one of the things that I always held on to. Looking for that hope, like in that greater dream. In the world today, it actually brings up my faith even more, because I do see scriptures actually playing out in real life, right? You got earthquakes in diverse places. You got famines, you got pestilence. In recent years, we have COVID, which really shocked the world and really brought a lot of people back to God, back to going back to scripture and the Bible. So, one thing that I would encourage you is that always look up, because one day your redemption draws nigh, and to hold on to that faith and endure to the end, and to know that if you really follow God and you really read your scriptures, there's no way you can deny the faith. So once again, hold on to that faith and look up for your redemption draw.
Mr. Steven, I thank you so much for your time here today. And the date of today is Friday the 19th. Thank you so much for being here in the committee. And we want to thank you again for your time here. So once again, everyone that is here and that is not present, we want to go ahead and greet you all and say peace be. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Awesome. Wow, this is amazing. Man, you did well. You did better than me. I'm jealous, man.
It's different when, because right, that's not my area of expertise. So it's kind of like, you kind of got to think along.
On the spot?
Which is, to me, is a little bit harder. That's something that I have opportunity.
Yeah.
So when I do go to meetings like this, I have to practice and I have to know the whole script. Because if I start thinking, not knowing, I'm going to say,
Yeah.
and you notice. And so
That was pretty smooth, though.
that's why I try like pause, but I'll still say and pause.
I gotcha.
I'm going from the ums to the and pausing, and then eventually I want to get to just pausing.
Pausing. Was that good practice, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good practice in the sense of trying to get from the aspect of like you really don't have like an expertise what's
Mm-hmm.
going on. What you think, right?
All right, everyone, to whoever is watching, we were just speaking here at the, this is the committee room here in Atlanta, Georgia, in one of the committee rooms of the Capitol. My brother Stephen here did a wonderful job. I was able to ask him some questions, not to be too political, but maybe one day we'll get more political. And this is the setting here. We touched on a few topics, great topics. We didn't touch on too much. Maybe stay tuned, maybe he'll come back.